We have naturally that God naturally put here. And that I found, like when I was using these fruit, I just was using the fruit because it tastes good. And then another person, international, a guy from India, he said, do you know that all of these are superfruit? I'm like, superfruit? What's a superfruit? He said, the most nutritious fruit on the planet is called a superfruit. And every single one of my sorbet is on the list of superfruit. Who would have known it?
So all this stuff, all this thing, what's it, the sugar and all that, all their products are natural
All
products.
natural. All natural.
And ladies and gentlemen, I would really, really want to encourage you, church groups, youth groups. Now, she didn't tell me to say this, but you all need to talk to this woman because in communication, it's so essential to get good ideas and to network with people. But a lot of our Bahamian people be scared to network. We are reluctant. They're gonna teach my idea. They're gonna do this to me. Nobody can do nothing to you if there's a proper legal structure. And there are any number of lawyers around your legal aid society or the bar council that would assist you, but be careful of the lawyers also. But Ms. Darville, what you want to that? Something else you want to tell me about this big time Shriver on Shiver?
The shiver. No, I'm just saying. It's just Shiver. I say is more than a company. It's an example. Shiver is here to show Bahamians that if you try, and you start with almost nothing, you can accomplish something. That's what Shiva represents. So when you look at Shiva, you just say, this was started by a woman who was thrown down, a woman who people said was too old, a woman who was told that you can't do it without a man, and she did it. And so can you.
Let's listen, ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to this braggadocious woman that she couldn't do without a man, that she couldn't do this and that and that. And I want to say to you ladies out there who have one or two or three children that say you made a mistake, listen, man, that's not the end of it. You don't have to let society package you and market you. God gave you the talent, and He gave everybody a talent. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to remind the public that nothing to do with Darville right now, but tomorrow night there's going to be a PLP branch meeting at Bamboo Town, the 28th of this month at 7 o'clock at the C.V. Bethel Senior High School, East Street South. Not we, but the branch representative, the Honorable Speaker of the House of Assembly, Patricia DeVoe, Member of Parliament for Bamboo Town. She wants all constituents to please come out, join the branch, and become financial. And you can vote on those issues. The Honorable Minister Obadiah Wilstrom will be the guest speaker tomorrow night. I am not necessarily a PLP. I'm not necessarily an F&M, but I do admire Patricia DeVoe. She's on one of my talk shows some months back before elections. I will be out there tomorrow night at the CV Battle at 6:45. You want to meet me for whatever reason? Come on out and let's dialogue. But Ms. Darville, we are going to continue talking to you because the House of Assembly is in session, so we don't need to take a break yet.
Okay.
But Ms. Darville, you were very passionate. You were always a Catholic, or that's just something?
Always a Catholic, yes.
But most Catholics don't speak about spiritual issues and matters the way you.
Because I'm Catholic, but I understand what religion is. There's God. And then religion is just a way for people to get to God. And so everyone has their little interpretation, but the whole base is get to God. And what is God? God is love. So once we could, we can
stop. Love that. So who God is again?
God is love. So, that's the highest law. Love.
Love you one another.
Yeah. So all stop getting caught up on the details of who eating conch and who eating red meat. Let's stop worrying about the details. Be a good person.
But you don't eat pork chop, though. Woman says she love a pork chop. Yeah.
I'm pig feet.
No, I wouldn't off with me. Just be a good person.
Be a good person. That's what God is looking at. He's not going down the attendance list of church. He's not going to look and see who's sitting in the front, who's sitting in the back. He's going to look at your heart. You were sitting in the front of the church, but you still drive past that child when she was crying and didn't help her. He's looking at your heart. So focus on that.
Again, you remind me, ladies and gentlemen, now don't get me wrong, I'm not the Lord Jesus Christ, in no way, shape, or form. But if I were to emulate him, I would say to Ms. Darville, come follow me. this woman, you really did. And I'm not trying to spell your head, but people sometimes think that Austin Bodie trying to spell people. No, no, no. I give people their credit when they are due, and I believe in giving you persons their rules as well. They can appreciate them.
Thank you.
If we had 10 more women like you, I'm sure there might be
There
10,
are.
but if we had 10 more like you, not wearing it on their sleeves, but living it, preaching it.
Hmm.
Because a lot of our people are perishing because they don't have the information, or they don't want to have it, or they don't know where to find it. And you are a living example. But the ice cream product, when you expand without telling us all your business,
Hmm.
how are you going to be expanding as we go forward? You're done big time now on the Caribbean, all over the radios, all over the TVs.
Yeah, I want to get into the Caribbean, and probably expand the line, probably go into a few more products that are frozen. And then that's it. And then I'll start something else.
If you were to recommend a project, I know you don't. You wouldn't
Ooh,
recommend yours.
listen, I have a big project, but I don't know if you want to hear about that.
Might be one year, but everything. Tell us the whole
Man,
nine yards.
there is something that really bothers. When you see something that really bothers you, I think we need a strong logistics team to sort out the dock with the mailboat and the shipping. The way that the trucks and the companies have to wait for hours and hours and hours and hours just to deliver one thing. And, I'm sure we can do it in a better way. I'm sure we
Oh,
can do it in a better way.
all right. The guys will take a short break.
Okay.
I was so entranced by what your woman was saying. I'll be right back. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Final Word. Arthur Lace Brody Jr. We had only scheduled half an hour, 45 minutes for Miss Melissa Darville. But Miss Darville is so intriguing. She's so informative. She's so insightful. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not lotioning up Miss Darville. Don't know her no more than the man in the moon. She is, I'm sure she has her issues and she has her people. I got my issues, I got my people. So I ain't looking for nothing except building the Bahamas. But I want to thank the management here at the Broadcasting Corporation for allowing me to go over the allotted time. Thank you, my brother producer. To go over the allotted time today with Mrs. Darville. A little bit more? Okay. My producer told me just go over a little bit more, Dave. You know, when I get excited, I try to go all over the place. But ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is, and I want to thank my brother producer again. But when you have an exciting guest, you have a issue sometimes where you, instead of letting them dialogue, you want to praise them unduly. But it's not unduly. I believe that in this country today, we need to encourage more persons, especially younger persons and not so young persons. Miss Darville,
Yes.
I still find it interesting that ice cream is the passion that you have currently. Ice cream.
Because ice cream, when people are sad, they want ice cream. When they're happy, they want ice cream. You want ice cream as a reward. So it's a kind of joy thing. It's a joyful thing. So it was a good, what would you say, segue out of my other life, which was a lot of heartache and a lot of sorrow, you
So
know,
ice
dealing
cream,
with.
ice
And so I
cream
needed
brought you
something of
relief.
ice cream was like a business that didn't have all of the heaviness that I had as a special needs teacher. Now I just, most of the time, I deal with people with joy. I deal with people for parties. I deal with people for events.
So
You know,
how do you set up your how I mean this is I'm not giving you a commercial, but you know I can't really talk about your business per se without giving some idea to the public. What do you do? What your business does?
I make 4 ounce. I make a variety of small sizes, from 4 ounce up to pints of ice cream and sorbet, and then I put them in. I do not have a storefront as yet, so I put them in corner stores and gas stations, and then they resell them and make their profit. And I also ship to the Family Islands. And I have some people who have the ice cream trucks, and they purchase to sell in the ice cream trucks. So I produce a product that and price it so that a second person can also benefit from it. That's what I do. I'm a
So
manufacturer.
it's not all about just you making the money and
No, I sell at a very base price, and I do that on purpose because a lot of people, when they go to purchase, they said, that's it. And they said, that's a bad sign. No, but I price it because I know what the end price has to be, and I want the second person to be able to make something too. That's the point of it. I want to manufacture, and then I give other people opportunities to also sell.
so you're not just greedy.
No, I'm not greedy.
But you know, ladies and gentlemen, that's what kills a lot of behemoth businesses. You want to make that big profit instantaneously, as opposed to developing a good business relationship. And I have a good friend who has a seafood outlet on Andres Avenue. I won't say the name of it because that'll be a pre-commercial. But he always tells me that I like to talk about Otto H. Bowley Jr. Yes, I like to talk about myself. If I had not been the sort of person I would have been with the experiences and the setbacks, the downfalls, the disappointment, I don't believe I would have been the person I am today. Because you go through these experiences to understand clearly that it's not all about Otto and Bodie. I thought it was all about me one time, you know. Miss W ever made $100,000 or more a year or a month?
I
Not
think once.
okay. That was a routine with me. $100,000 a month as a
Wow.
lawyer, right? So it got to the point where I thought it was all about me, not realizing that God gave me the talent to benefit other people. And that's why I love, no, no, let me tell you, that's why I like people like you.
Okay.
Because when you say love, people start
Yeah,
thinking.
they get it.
And, you know, that's what is important, ladies and gentlemen. Find your niche. Develop the expertise that, or go back to school or study online or whatever to develop your talent to the point where people will find you in demand. If they want your, and man, let me tell you, this product this woman gave me a sample of, and that's another good thing about this job. You always get a free sample. Is that you have a special event going on, let's say a christening or wedding or luncheon or brunch, you could be contacted and you could manufacture
Yeah.
to order whatever they want.
Yes. Right now we do like on demand. Our inventory is really like on demand. So as you give me a couple days and then I produce it for you. I don't really have.
You
I
don't
don't
keep
really
it
keep
on
it in stock.
storage,
Yeah, I
right?
don't keep stock like that. Yeah, just because power, electricity.
Well,
Because if you
yeah,
stock up everything and power go out, you're at
then
a
everything
loss.
is gone, right? But
Yeah.
things like any type family event.
Yeah, any type of event. We went to. They had something, the equestrian out there by Life Key. They had a show, so they invited us to come down there, and so we set up a booth down there, and that's the first time I saw black people riding a horse. I was
Wait a
just
minute,
like,
wait a
man,
minute.
these children look so
No, no,
good.
no, no. Hold on a minute, woman. Hey producer, cut this woman, man. You tell me you never saw no black man or woman
Not
right?
in the full outfit. Not in the competition. I've seen them ride the horse on the beach. I've seen them ride
Old
the
blue
car
jeans
right,
and old
all that,
pants,
but not in the full regalia.
uniform.
Yes, and they look so beautiful. I was like, man, these black children look so good.
Ladies and
They look
gentlemen,
so good. They look so good, and I just
listen, this woman speaking the truth right now. How should I put it? I was fortunate to go to school in London for many, many years. And of course, the horse riding and equestrian type thing was the model of the day. So I would have been exposed to that. But the average black Bahamian person have never even ridden a horse. Have you ridden a horse before?
no.
And you're from Long Island. And you all get plenty of horses down there. But ladies and gentlemen, there used to be some horse stables around here. I can't call the names. That'll be a commercial. It's getting a little bit expensive to ride a horse now, but I wouldn't call it something as simple as that. There was a horse type operation many years ago back out in the western area somewhere. You could ride a horse for about an hour under supervision for about $45, $50. To ride a horse today, you're talking about $100 is outpriced.
Wow.
It's like golfing.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
But the thing is that all of us are really trying to push our kids to get that track and field scholarship, and it's so crowded. But there's scholarships for horseback riding.
Yes, ma'am.
And there's scholarships for golf.
yes.
And one thing
and tennis.
and what I say, I don't want to sound like this, but I'm going to say it. When black people do something, they do it. And when Bahamians do something, they do it right. And just like it's better in the Bahamas, we do it better in the Bahamas. So we would take something that you do, and then we do that better than that. So it's like, yes, you want to get your kids in that scholarship for the track and field and, for the swimming. But why don't you go to, as they call it, the blue ocean, where there's less people fighting for the same thing,
It's
So
like
that's
it's like bone fishing, for instance. Some people do it, but it's not as popular or not as widespread as it could be. People come and spend $5, $6, $7,000 a week, expats, to go bone fishing on the flats of Andros. But very few Bahamians want to get involved. Now you're talking about when Bahamians do something, they do it better. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this woman is a prophetess. I'm not advertising nobody book, but Dr. J, what do you name again? K. Jonathan Rogers. He's an eye doctor. He's a neighbor who his parents owned some apartments just down the road from the Broadcasting Corporation. His mother was Anna Toll Rogers, who was the headmistress at Government High. Dr. Rogers is an eye doctor, a specialist. And he wrote a book some years ago, Is It Really Better in the Bahamas for Bahamians? And you asked the same question in a different way just now. And I wasn't going to bring this book with me today, but I said, let me take this book behind me. I was going to read from the book today, but you were so interested in different, I had no time for the book. But you referred to the title of the book. Bahamians, if they want to do something, they can do it better. Like this is a sherbet?
Sorbet.
What?
Sorbet. Sherbet has dairy in it.
Listen, talk English. What you call this thing?
It's like a daiquiri, but it's firmer. So it's a fruit dessert. All fruit, no milk.
So those who are, what they call it?
Lactose intolerant, this
Right.
is for them. And vegans, this is for them.
And this is all natural.
All natural.
No, nothing
No,
except the ingredients.
just the ingredients. Just the fruit and the water.
But I still want to know, and you still seem to be reluctant to tell the Bahamian people, including myself, how and when did this idea pop in your head? I'm sure ice cream and what you call it, sugar, that wasn't always in your head.
No, I don't know how to explain my life, but I get ideas. So I get ideas. So sometimes I'll be driving in the car and I'll be, listening to music or praying or looking at something, and then an idea would come to me and I'll be like, oh, that's good. Or I'll see something and it'll give me the inspiration. Oh, what about a twist on that? So, but it's about.
So you are a dreamer.
I am a dreamer. I was like alone. I would say, let me tell you, in primary school, it was three of us. We were friends, and I didn't really play with the rest of the kids. We did our own thing. Lunchtime, we went under the tree and we talked and we did our own thing. They would come to us. Y'all want to play the thing with us? No, we're quite fine. And I've always been that type of person that I like. Let me see how to put it. My mental space. So I don't really like I help people, but at a certain point I need to be by myself because I need space for my ideas and I need space to think. So I do like loud music, but I have a time and a place for loud music. And I think we need to put that, because we don't really do the meditation in our culture, but it is very important because there are a lot of ideas and things in your head that when you give it the empty space, you have time to come up with things. And I think I started with the thinking when I started doing the long distance running, and when you start to run, it just becomes automatic and you don't really have to think about anything, and then your brain just gets free and ideas just start to pop. So we could turn off the TV sometimes. You don't have to. Some people, when they get in the house, the first thing they do is they turn on the TV, and every room they go into, there's an external noise. How are you going to hear what your body and your mind is trying to say to you if you're always listening to something from the outside? Gather the information that you need to gather, whatever, enjoy your TV show, but then give yourself some time with quiet and peace so that you could, just digest your day and think. And think, because otherwise you're just going through the motions of every day. Where's the thinking?
You're not an over woman.
No! I'm all God.
But ladies and gentlemen, meditation is so critical, and I have found in my own life over the years, and those of my clients who have spoken to me, that a lot of our people don't ever find that quiet space. We don't ever discover what it is that is necessary to advance our lives and that of our community or our family. We always on the go, 24/7. So how do you meditate when you do meditate?
I actually find a quiet spot and I sit with my Bible, and I don't have a set thing that I want to read. I just flip through.
With your Bible?
Yes.
Well, you see, I have my Bible with me too.
And I flip through, and then things pop out at me. Phrases pop out at me, and I write them down, and I keep them aside. And then I close my Bible, and then I just listen to see what I'm supposed to do with that information. It's like one part of it, I think it was in Revelation, they were talking about the leaves of the tree will be used for healing or something like that. And I started thinking, I was like, okay, this is really talking about how we should eat. This is really telling you that, that we need to look go back to nature and go back to the leaves of the tree to do some of the healing that we need.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, that wasn't in the Bible, but that's what, after I wrote that verse down, that's what where my brain took me.
That's the interpretation.
So, so I that's how I meditate. And sometimes I go by Montague and I just sit and I look at the water. So I do that type of stuff.
You're not ever gone up by Foxville Road by Sandilands yet, though.
No.
You ain't stopped by Sandilands and look at Sandilands
No,
and
but I had a best friend who used to work there.
All right. But, ladies and gentlemen, again, from my personal experience, and we all don't necessarily want to hear all about us and Mrs. Darville, but just how she would have gone through her, not trauma, so to speak, but uncomfortable periods in her own life. We all go through that, but so many of us let it stop us, stagnate us, and hinder us for life. Listen, life is a never-ending cycle. It's now 20 after 5. It'll be 5:30 in just a moment. Life does not stand still. And there's no reason to believe that because you had a bad past, that is going to determine your present. Now, don't worry about the future too much. The future will take care of itself, but you can do something about your present life. Stop feeling sorry. Stop saying you have no job. Stop saying you can't make no money. Ms. Darville didn't say she started from nothing because she had a good family background, thank God. Ms. Darville, what you was doing in real life before you started becoming an entrepreneur?
But I was a teacher, so I taught. My first job was in Dade County for a Saturn school. So it was like a school designed for a certain purpose for mail. It was a post office school, so everything was based on the post office and mailing and writing letters. That was my first job, and then I got my second job. I took a job in Broward, which was they grade the schools. It was an F-rated school, so it was in the inner city, all black. I worked there. And then
how did you manage with a bunch of black people?
Actually, it was hard.
I can imagine.
It was very hard, and I was only teaching grade 1, and I got beat up.
You ain't a bad-looking woman. You got beat up.
I got beat up by a 6-year-old girl. I got beat up because you can't spank children in the States, and she pushed me down the stairs and she bit me all up.
Pushed you down the stairs.
And bit me to pieces.
But the school board.
They suspended her for 2 weeks. But she came right back. But the child, she was a, what do you call it, EH, emotionally handicapped child.
Okay.
Yeah, so those things happen. Yeah, so and then after that, I took a job at Sylvan Learning Center. So I was assistant director of education there.
What's that?
Sylvan Learning Center. They do tutoring.
That's a popular tutoring school.
Yeah, tutoring school. So I was assistant director of education there in right by Dadeland area for a year. And then I came home, and then I was a computer teacher at St. Cecilia's School for 4 years.
Yeah.
And from there, I started my own business.
So you had some real jobs in your lifetime.
I had some real jobs, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen here. The career path that you follow is so critical because she would have been a teacher, so she has the empathy for persons and students and parents. And ladies and gentlemen, there's so much joy. Obviously, you enjoy teaching for a number of years.
I do. I still love children. And I still use it. I use, all of that teaching helps with me with situations like this. Because, you have to talk all day, you have to present yourself, you have to do your research. Like before I came, my son was like, "You're doing your research last minute. You're doing your homework last minute."
I can tell you now, Madam Darville, that I'm not, again, bragging for being a quick study, but I have this, let me brag. I have this gift that I acknowledge God has given me of discernment, and I can tell when people are sincere. And I can look at you, I can just hear you the first time you open your mouth. You remind me of my spiritual leader at my church I attend. The first time I met him, I knew he was the real deal. The minute you walked in the studio and before you even said hello to me, I sensed you were the real deal. Because there are some people in life who are just genuine people. The passion, the way you speak the Queen's English. You ain't just fly by no night.
But you know what it is?
It's
how you...
What it is? Tell me.
Hardship builds character.
Yes.
But it's how you deal with it. So in order to build character, you need something to care about. You need something to defend. And so sometimes we get these obstacles and we think, oh, everything is against me. It's trying to build your character so you know what